No, serious one.
Yeah.
So joining you live from the World Championship 2023 in Barcelona, the Living Legend podcast.
How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the Living Legends podcast, your weekly Flesh and Blood podcast, where we talk about all aspects of the Flesh and Blood trading card game. My name is Kel, and it is great to be back. There will not have been any breaks for you, dear viewers, but for me, it has been 3 weeks. And I'll tell you what, I'm pretty stoked to talk to my friends here. And who are they? Well, they are the co-hosts. We'll go with Bill first. Hey, Bill, how are you doing today?
Hello, I am good. And like Kel said, and I mean, we didn't really hide the fact that we did this at all, but we bulk recorded 3 episodes in a row about 3 weeks ago now, and have not really talked to each other since. So we've all been busy doing our own thing, and obviously all of Part the Mistveil has been revealed, and now pre-releases have happened and stuff. So we do have quite a bit to catch up on, and I'm excited. Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, and then we have our other co-host, Az. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of this week in Flesh and Blood, which sort of, go and sort of merge into why my voice is a little bit sort of here and there. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. It's been nice to have sort of 3 weeks off per se. We did a mammoth recording on that one where we released the 3 episodes, and hopefully people enjoyed the random stuff that we were doing, especially the who would help you move. I thought that was quite fun. When we did that.
Go watch that. That is the most criminally underrated episode that we've ever done, and I think it is just incredible. And it got no views.
Really
go watch
fun
it.
episode.
It was really good. I had a blast.
Yeah, it was good fun. But yeah, we're back now to do it every week with relevant and up-to-date Flesh and Blood stuff. Whether there's stuff happening or not, we'll be here every week now as it happens. So yes, welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, so let's be a little bit structured here today. So I'm gonna go over. Well, speaking of upcoming things, I'll just announce this now. So James White is going to be on the podcast very, very soon. Basically the next episode. So James is going to be on the next episode. It's probably a little too late to ask viewers for questions because, we're probably going to have talked to him by the time, that you can reciprocate anyway. But I will be posting on Twitter at least soon, asking for people to get their, questions if they have any questions. So there's that. And then for the episode today, we're going to be talking about the Calling Tokyo, because I was in Japan for 10 days. I was doing a super secret project outside of Flesh and Blood, but also while I was there, I was able to attend the Calling Tokyo, and I will talk all about that. And then I do believe Bill has also been able to play a little bit of Mistveil, and I think we'll structure it so I'll do the Calling Tokyo bit, and then we'll see Bill's opinion of the set and all that kind of stuff, because I guess we'll talk about the event, and then I'll talk about how I feel about the set, and then Az has some stuff to talk about as well. And that's basically going to be what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be all about the Calling Tokyo and Mistveil and our impressions and that kind of stuff. If you want to see our top 5 list, expect that in a couple weeks or something. I imagine we'll do that at some point.
I mean, I'm still yet to play of the cards, so I'm hoping to go to something this weekend, which will probably feature some sort of sealed for this, which I can touch on later on. But yeah, I haven't managed to play of any cards yet, so I don't know all the interactions. I've just literally gone onto the FAB right now. I'm just refreshing my memory of what everything does. But yeah, it looks so sick. So I'm interested to know what your tales of your pre-releases and your Calling Tokyo stuff went.
Yeah, I played a lot. I played a lot of this set. I played it for 3 days straight almost. So we'll get into the second. Az, do you want to go over your thing first, and then I'll go into the Calling, and then we can go into Bill's experience? I think that's a good way to structure this.
Yeah, sure. So, my week in Flesh and Blood has been quite active as of recently. I've started playing a lot more BLITZ games. With people in my Discord, and they've got the webcam setups and stuff. So I've actually managed to make some content out of it, much to the participants' despair sometimes. But no, yeah, they've been pretty good. A lot of people do have that webcam set up, so I've been able to make some stuff out of it. But yeah, found a newfound love for Blitz recently. It's a nice little way to play. You can still play a lot of power, but the games end quickly. Yeah, found a nice little newfound love for it. I've been very much CC the whole way until recently, but yeah, I think Blitz is. I think James said it in a recent podcast as well that Blitz is probably one of the best ways to play casually, because it's just you're playing with power still, but then you're still ending the game quickly, and you can just move on to the next thing. So yeah, been enjoying that recently. With regards to the way my voice is and stuff, I'm not sure if people would notice or anything really, but it's a little bit hoarse. I've been a little bit under the weather recently, and that's because I also climbed a mountain this weekend, which is why I haven't been going to any pre-releases. That took a big toll on me. So I climbed the Penny Fan or Penwy Fan mountain in South Wales. It's quite a popular mountain to climb in the UK or Wales. Fairly easy. Does take a toll on your body afterwards though, but it's easy to get up and easy to get down to a certain degree. But for people that didn't see the picture on Twitter, I did manage to take up a Game Store Flesh and Blood banner to the top of the peak, and I laid it down next to the stone that says you have achieved 883 meters to Penny Fan's Peak. I took a picture of the Arcane Rising Azalea banner, which got a bit of traction, and James was like, "Oh, you're a mad lad, and I love you for it." He commented on the post, so I'll take that as a win. You know, you can't deny that Az from Go Again Gaming loves Azalea so much he climbs a mountain with the banner and lays it down at the peak. So if that doesn't get me another spoiler card in the future, I don't know what will. So
everything for a spoiler card.
That's right. Shoeies, climbing mountains. What else do you want me to do, for God's sake? But yeah, no. So yeah, have had a good time recently. Obviously, that took a toll on me. And another bit of cool news is that I might be going to the UK Games Expo. So if you're at the UK Games Expo, I know we have listeners from all over the place. So if you're gonna be there, I should be there on the Saturday. And that means I'm going to be able to get one of those Blaze promos, which is pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. And also, lastly, got a lot of stuff going on, which is nice. I should be also casting the UK Nationals as well.
Hell yeah, dude.
So
congratulations.
Yeah, so that should be fun. Still waiting for confirmation on it, but it's pretty much set in stone. But yeah, stay tuned on that as well. But yeah, been busy. Yeah, I just have to do all my research and stuff and get everything sorted. Although it's going to be a fresh meta anyway, because it's just after MST, so there's going to be a lot of unknown factors, which is also plays into my favor, because we're not going to know everything at that point in time. I don't think. I'm not sure how many events will be streamed before now and then that I need to watch to catch up. But yeah, MST, Part of the Mistveil is out now, of course, and we're just catching up. And you guys have played it more than me right now, so we can obviously segue into that, because I haven't actually managed to play any cards yet, but you guys have.
Yeah, so this past weekend was pre-release weekend. I think the set officially comes out on Friday, like this coming Friday. But I was playing this set a couple weeks ago at the World Premiere event and the Calling Tokyo. So as mentioned before, I had kind of like this little secret project that I got invited to in Japan that actually coincided pretty well with the Calling Tokyo. It was like a week or so after, and so I was actually in Tokyo for 10 days. Before that, I was doing casting for Grand Archive for 6 days, so I've been basically gone for almost three consecutive weeks. I was at home for 1 day. Literally what I did is I took my luggage, my laundry, did the laundry, repacked it all. Like I just repacked the exact same stuff and added in like a couple extra, like an extra shirt or that kind of stuff. So it's nice to be back, and it's nice to be a little bit more chill. I found my limit of when I start to get homesick, right? And my limit is about 3 weeks, right? That's when I'm really started to feel it. But the Calling Tokyo itself and the World Premiere event was great. So it was 3 days, right? The first day was the World Premiere event, and there were some side events, and then you had the Calling Tokyo for the second and the third day, alongside like a battle hardened and your usual cadre of Flesh and Blood events. The big side event was the Oasis Respite event that you got your Oasis Respite promo, but it was also double prizes, which is great because you could redeem those prizes for, and this is what I cashed all my stuff in, Japanese Part the Mistveil product. You can also get playmats and whatever, but I don't need that. I just want a Japanese Part the Mistveil product. And so day one for the actual event, it was pretty fun. My day one was like a little bit interesting. So I did the World Premiere event. I started 2-0. I played Enigma, and this is going to be a theme you hear here. I got a really good Enigma pool, and I think Enigma's pretty good. I think there actually is one hero that's a little bit stronger in sealed, but if you get a good Enigma pool, you can just dominate. And the games that I won with Enigma, at least with this pool, I won with either full health or more than full health, right? Like I just ran away with the game, and they just couldn't touch you. This pool was you're probably gonna go into it right now, but I was just gonna say, what are the sort of standout cards that you played in your deck? Because I'd love to know what's standing out for you. The Majestics are pretty good. Like the Dragon, the Mirror Guy, is actually insane. So I didn't have it for this pool, but I did have it for a pool on another day that I'll go into. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that pool. That pool was very good, and I did very good in that event. But Mirror Guy is insane. So Mirror Guy costs 3. It's a aura. She has no attacks. She has no actual attack actions. They're all auras or instants that you can actually use to attack with her weapon, right? And so what her weapon does is it makes it so that you can attack with auras, and they attack equal to their ward value, right? So if you have something that has ward 4, it attacks for 4. And then if they have a plus
costs 1, doesn't it?
Yes.
Plus 1 to attack. Yeah,
yes. Yeah. Except Enigma's ability makes it so your first attack with a Spectral Shield is free every turn. So you can free attack with Spectral Shields, and anything with a +1 counter on them gets go again. So Spectral Shield, any of your things with ward, auras that have +1 counters get go again. So you can kind of do like a Kodachi style thing. If you have a bunch of little auras, you can do like attack for 1 go again, 1 go again, 1 go again. It's better I found to like stack them up on like 1, and then you can like go like 6 go again, 7 go again, and in a story that I'll talk about later, 11 go again. Yeah, so Mirror Guy is really good because of that, because Mirror Guy says that its ward value is equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it. So basically it has double attack, right? So its attack is equal to the +1/+1 counters, and then it also gets the +1/+1 counter bonus, right? So if it has 4 +1/+1 counters on it, and it has ward 4, but it will attack for 8 because it still gets the +1 counters. So
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like at base level, if you play it, it comes into play with 2 +1/+1 counters. So it has ward 2, attacks for 4. If you pitch a chi, if you spend chi to play it, it comes into play with 4 counters, so it will attack for 8. But you don't really need to do that. My tip is don't really stress about that. Just play it for the 2 +1/+1 counters, and then do other things to put counters on it. There's a common glove that you just turn up, and you get a +1 counter on any of your things with in any of your auras. And so what you can do is you can use it as a combat trick and just blow out your opponent. You attack for 4, and it's like, okay, I'll turn up my thing, put a +1 counter on. Now it's attacking for 6 because it basically like doubles, and that's 6 go again. And then you could just keep doing that every turn. It's disgusting. It's like,
oh, okay, yeah. So the ward is, the ward becomes the amount of counters on it, and then it gets +1 for each counter anyway. That's why it's doubling.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So every counter on it
sick.
basically does additional like 2 points of damage, and there's some cards that put more counters on it as well. Other standout cards are there's a common. It's like a 2-drop non-attack action with go again, and all it does is the red version, it puts a Spectral Shield onto the battlefield, and then if there are no other auras, you put 3 +1 counters on the Spectral Shield. So that Spectral Shield now attacks for 4 go again. and it's free. So it costs 2 to play, right? But then you get a Spectral Shield that basically attacks for 4, go again. And you can immediately attack with it and then do other stuff. That card's very, very good. And it combos really, really well with a certain Majestic that I got in one of the events, which is the 10,000 year, I can't remember what it's called. It's a 10,000 year one that has Ward 10, right? It's got Ward 10. Yeah. Costs $1 billion to play, costs like 9 to play, or it has an alternate cost of removing 3+1 counters. And conveniently, the card that puts a Spectral Shield with 3+1 counter on it is a common, and I ended up with 2 of them in the same pool. So you can, same turn, jam that out, get your Spectral Shield, attack for 4, go again with your Spectral Shield for free, and then remove those 3 counters, jam in your 10 ward, and all you have to do, and attacks for 10, because your auras attack equal to their ward, and so it literally attacks for 10. And so if you could put a +1 counter on it, it attacks for 11 with go again. And I did that. You have to protect it. You have to protect it, right? But you just go all in on it, and then you just like, if you can hit once for 11 go again, plus whatever else you're doing, it's sweet. It might be a little bit of a meme, but it's a meme that if you pull it off, you win. So good meme.
But yeah, so you can't. So if you play Spectral Manifestations, the one you're talking about, so it's a 2-drop, create a Spectral Shield, and if you control no other auras, it gets +3 counters, go again. So you play that, and then you play the 10,000 year thing, but you can't attack with the 10,000 year thing yet. You have to
protect it, but you can attack with the Spectral Shield first. So I would play it, get the Spectral Shield, attack for 4 for the Spectral Shield because it'll be for free,
then sack it off,
and then do it. And I pulled it off once, and I was very happy with that. So, all right, so let's get back to the event. So I played Enigma. For the World Premiere event, I ended up going 2-1-1 technically. Actually, I went 2-0 because I scooped my opponent last round, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I played Enigma. The one game that I actually lost was against a new, and there is a common card. I don't remember the name, but it's a common card that if you've done 2 attack reactions, yes, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
If you've done 2 attack reactions,
you'll see why I know that.
Damage can't be prevented. And if you're playing Enigma and you're going all in on it, there's a good chance when they're attacking with this stupid thing that all the cards in your hand are just cards with ward and no actual block, or only a couple block, right? To the point where it's like basically pointless because you know they're just going to attack, react, and go over the 1/3 block you have in your hand or whatever, and it just blows up all of your wards. So the way it works for unpreventable, right? Even if you deal 1 point of damage, if it's unpreventable, it will literally pop every single ward that you have because it'll try to prevent it, blow up, try to prevent it, blow up, try to prevent it, blow up, and it'll just do that. And so,
which is interesting. It's interesting as well because there are a couple of cards that do have damage can't be prevented on it. So one of them is Murkmire Grapnel, which Rangers can use. Dory has a Chorus of Iron Song. Rock, the brute weapon, can't be no damage can be prevented. And then Jay's favorite, Vincent, Iron Maiden. Damage can't be prevented from that. So we might even see some of those decks go up if Enigma decides to blow up. I'm pretty sure
it's a pretty hard counter to a degree that Dragons never really had, right? It literally just blows up everything, and it can be a game ender. And so I never recovered for that. I had like 5 auras on the field, and he got me on a turn where I had literally nothing to block with. I had the equipment that are like you can sacrifice it and prevent 1 damage, but that literally does nothing if the damage can't be prevented. And so it's a great equalizer. It just blew up my stuff. So
it's nice though, because a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, we need a board wipe for illusionist stuff," but now there's an illusionist which you can board wipe. Certain heroes can at least. So that is nice because Rangers do have the board wipe. We've been waiting all this time. Give us a explosive arrow or whatever. Murkmire does it against this hero at least, but. I absolutely love the design space of this illusionist.
For CC, she's the only playable illusionist because the others are living legends. So, yeah,
that's true.
So, and then
Prism, honestly.
And then the game that I drew to it was an interesting discussion, like going into the event, because a lot of people we were chatting and stuff going into the event, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, I think Zen is like the worst or the hardest to play." No, I'm gonna tell you right now. I think Zen's the best. I actually think Zen is the easiest deck to build, and I think he slaps so effing hard. Like, and he has such a great matchup against Enigma, which I think is the second best. Because it is. So I'll go into this. This is the game that I technically drew, or I technically drew. Really, I scooped at the end just so someone can get a prize. Because this was the world premiere event. You're just playing for tickets, basically. And so I played against Zen, and I had an amazing first turn. I literally dropped like 4 auras, and it was like it was insane. It was like a crazy first turn. But Zen can push so many tiny little points of damage that it's really hard to block it all, especially with just like limited. You don't have a great like equipment suite. You have a little bit here and there, but it's not enough to prevent, 2 attack here, 2 attack here, Tiger for 3, Tiger, and it's just really, really hard to protect all your stuff. And because of that, the game went really, really long, and we went to time, and we had a judge. I was playing against someone who is a cosplayer. And so there's someone that I've actually met before, and we had, really nice interaction. I'll say this for everything. Everyone I met at the weekend, awesome interaction. We'll get to my day 3 stuff in a moment, because I had some really cool interactions there. But judge was sitting down watching our game because we're at time. And I just turned to the judge and I said, "Judge, we're only playing for like prize tickets, right? There's nothing else." And he's like, "Yep." And I was like, "How do I properly concede so someone gets something?" Oh, no, I actually said before that, I said, "If we draw, that's a double loss, right?" And he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Neither of us will get anything for a draw, right?" And he says, "Yes." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm just going to take the bullet. I don't want, we're just playing for freaking prize tickets, man. I don't care that much. I'll just take it. And I'll just be the gentleman here. And I was just like, "Judge, how do I properly concede? Like, I want to end it so they can get the points." And so the judge kind of went me through the processes. Conceding in Flesh and Blood is weird. You can't just scoop. You have to do some stuff. It's weird. And so like
it's become very complicated.
There's like weird rules. There's like even new ones. Like, my suggestion is just get a judge and ask them. If you want to concede, just ask the judge. So you don't get penalized. It was the last round anyway, so it didn't really matter. But just in case, get a judge. And so I ended up scooping. It would have been a draw. They couldn't kill me. And it was their last turn. Like, I did my turn. It was their last turn. They couldn't kill me. Clearly, it was going to be a double loss. And I was just like, "Judge, how do I do this?" So anyway, that was day 1, 2 1-on-1. Got some packs. Actually ended up opening all of those packs on the channel in my hotel room, so you can go watch those on Red Zone Rogue if you'd like. That video is doing pretty well because opening packs of for whatever reason those videos do well. I remember doing that with like DM Armada for like another world premiere event, just opening packs in the hotel room. I was gonna participate in the Oasis Respite event that day. So there was 3 days and 3 Oasis events. I played in 2 of them. Day 1, I missed the deadline. I was not able to sign up for it in time. And so one of the big negatives I can say of the weekend is the event organizer was not good at ending things on time. Everything went very far past the time. When you would hit time in the round, it would go like 15, 20, 25 minutes after. And because of that, everything got delayed. Everything got pushed back. And it was very consistent. And I wasn't the only, a lot of people complained to me about that too. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it is. And so for the Oasis event, I was like, okay, I was going to try to sign up for it last minute. Was not able to sign up for it last minute because the event that I was playing in just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And so I was like, you know what? I could stay and try to do the 7 o'clock, like sealed or whatever. It was like maybe a super armory or something like that. But I was like, you know what? The way that it's going, it's going to get pushed back to like 9 o'clock. And if I play this event at 9 o'clock, that means I'm probably not going to actually be done playing until like 11 p.m. or something. And I'm just like, you know what? For my own sanity, and I'm just done. I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to go explore Tokyo and go find a good place to eat and just bail. And that's exactly what I did. And I do not regret it for a moment. So that was my day 1. I did the main event, met a lot of cool people. I met spoke to James for a very short moment before he got swarmed by who I think are Japanese distributors. They're very official looking guys, and James was like, oh, I have to talk to them or whatever, and he's like, but we'll have our interview in a week or so, and I'm like, yeah, sure. So I met James. Just a lot of great people. I always love going to Flesh and Blood events, and the thing I'll say now is I was actually very, very humbled by the amount of Japanese people who knew who I was. And I thought that was very cool. And I was very yeah, that was just awesome. I even tried to even at one of the merch, what do you call it? Little stores, little booths. One of the people there, because I was trying to sell one of the Marvels that I pulled. We'll get to that in a second. He was just like, "Oh, you YouTuber?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I watch your stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Nice.
And one other person, I forget. He wears a hat. He might be watching this video. I forget his name. It's in Japanese. So anyway, he's someone who follows me on Twitter. And he's like, sorry, my English is bad. And we communicated through a translator, which was kind of cool. So I just want to give a big shout out to the Japanese community. I played against a lot of Japanese players on day 3, and they were all fantastic, and some really good interactions. Some pretty funny tweets, because I gave some of them one of them my business card, and he tweeted, and he's like, "Oh, I met a famous Flesh and Blood person." Tweeted it I met a famous Flesh and Blood person. The only reason I know this is because I just did the Google Translate or the auto translate on Twitter. And then one of the other ones was "This is who beat me in the 4th." He tweeted "This is who beat me in round 4. Great game. When can I get revenge?" or something like that. Also great. And so that'll lead into day 2, because day 2 went much better for me than day 1. I did play the calling. I did scrub out of the calling. I can't remember my exact record. It was 2-3 or 3-3, something like that. I did pretty good at the start. I went 2-0, and then I just started to lose games, and I goozled myself pretty bad. I basically,
did you play Enigma there as well, was you? Or?
I did, yeah. I did play Enigma in this pool. It was much worse than my first pool. My first pool had her Sacred Art, the Sacred Art Lunar Shrine. That card is insane. It's actually just absurd. I think it's the best Sacred Art, at least in limited. It is disgusting. You just get a whole bunch of tokens. This is how I got 5 auras on turn 1 in one of my previous games. You just get a whole bunch of them, and they all get +1 counter, so they all get go again. It's disgusting. And then it just transcends, and you can do more BS because you can transcend and then immediately pitch it to get another spectral shield. It's good.
Oh god, yeah! It puts a counter on each aura you control with ward. Jesus,
yeah, it's good. It's just real good. It's busted. And I guess I should mention this. I should mention this now. So I played in 4 or 5 sealed events. I did not, in my sealed pools, I did not pull any spice. I pulled some good cards that are playable, like the Sacred Art Lunar Shrine. But everyone around me, I had the worst seats in terms of spice pulls. Everyone around me was yo, over here, yo. Literally, I sat in one spot, and my person to the right, my person directly across from me, my person to the left, and the 2 diagonal people all pulled either legendaries or marvels. And I'm I'm the only one. I'm just what the hell? What the actual hell? I distinctly remember, dude to the diagonal pulled the extended art cold foil Mask of Recurring Nightmares. Person to my immediate right pulled the Fable. Person across from me, she's a new player. She was very, very kind. New player from Australia. She was here with her friend. She pulled the Sacred Art Marvel, a new card, the Assassin one. And I'm like, whoa, that's so good. She's like, oh, is this good? And I'm like, no, that's money. Keep that nice. And then the person to the diagonal pulled the Sacred Art cold foil of the Enigma one. Just so you know, by the way, you cannot play any of the cold foils in sealed. So we were joking because that's the one that I pulled, the normal one. I'm like, oh, at least mine's playable.
Yeah.
And then the dude next to me pulled the extended art cold foil ninja chest, and I'm like, I'm the only person sitting in this group where I didn't get anything. Like, this is a theme of the weekend. This happened to me 2 more times where I was sitting down, opened my pool. One of the pools didn't even have a single Majestic in it. And then the dudes next to me got like, one guy got the Japanese cold foil Marvel new. And then he also pulled in the same pool rainbow foil Fabled. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? This is the pool that I got like no Majestics. It's a good pool. I actually did well at this pool though. But so I just wanted to cover that now. So that's my little rant about how my actual pulls are not only like not great. Well, the decks were fine, but like everyone around me was getting all of the cool stuff, so I could like literally see. It's gonna be in my vlog. Like, I'm not exaggerating. You're gonna see this in the vlog. So sick. I was like, oh, can I see that? And I recorded it. I was like, oh, can I show off the card? Cool, because I'm not gonna pull any of this stuff. I did pull for my prize packs the Sacred Art Cold Foil Ninja card. And then for my prize packs on the next day, I pulled literally the exact same Marvel. Japanese Cold Foil Sacred Art Ninja card. And I'm just like, this is very nice. This is trolling me at this point.
Yeah, at least you can trade or sell for what you want, though. I guess
I sold them both.
Pull stuff like that.
Yeah. I sold them for, in case people are curious, $175 each. So they're like pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Between that and the promos that I sold and the playmats and all that kind of stuff, more than made up for the cost for the weekend and all of my other spending in Japan. So
nice.
Pretty good. I kept all the assassin stuff, but I basically sold everything else.
That's great, and we've said it a million times before, but this hobby sort of pays for itself in that regard, doesn't it? Or it can do at least.
If you get lucky, yeah. If you get lucky,
yeah.
My prize packs, luckily, I got the valuable Marvels, because the other Marvels, the just kind of like the G cards are like they're selling for like $40, right? Which is like a third or a fourth of the cost. It's more like a fourth of the cost, yeah. So anyway, let's go to day 2. Day 2, like I said, I scrubbed out of the calling. I didn't do super great. But it was fine, and I didn't really have much aspirations for it. And to be completely honest, I just wanted to play in the Oasis event, because the Oasis event gives you better pricing. Unless you like, top 16 or top 8 the calling, you basically don't get anything, right? So I was like, I just want to do the double prizing event, and I did the double prizing event, and I went 4-0. So I completely demolished that one. That one, once again, a theme with Enigma. So this is my Enigma pool where I actually got Mirror Guy, the dragon. I only actually played Mirror Guy twice, and every time I played it, it was disgusting. And, well, I mean, I won every game, so I can't just say every time I played it, I won, but that is true for the other games as well.
Solid.
Yeah, Enigma's good if you have the right pool. There's some cards that I think are just, like, real bad, but a lot of her pool is pretty good, especially the... anything that gives you like a free spectral shield. So there's like one is like if it's destroyed, and if you pitched a blue card, you get a spectral shield. Like that's a really good card. Anything that gives you just like free spectral shields and stuff is good. And there's also another card that has Ward X, but only if you pitched a blue card. And then like I think the red version has Ward 4, and then 3, and then 2. That was also pretty good, especially if you can give it a counter.
Haze Shelter, isn't it? Haze Shelter, I think.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Give it like a +1 counter for the red, so you can just jam in for 5 go again every turn. It's pretty good. Yeah. And so, decent pool. Went 4-0. Did I do any other?
Did you face any? Because I know you said Zen was rough for Enigma. Did you face a lot of Zen at all, or was it mainly other Enigmas or News when you went 4-0?
So the 4-0, I think the last round I beat a New, and that's the guy who like Japanese player who tweeted at me. And I have another thing to say about this event. So there was a Japanese guy who tweeted at me and was like, he's like, oh, this is the guy I played against. When can I get revenge or something like that? And I was like, hey, I'm down to play anytime. So this pool, I played with only Japanese cards. So you could choose whether you wanted to play with English or Japanese, but they had less English product than Japanese product. And when they're handing them out, for the Oasis event, the judges will ask you what you want. If you don't say anything, you just get Japanese product. And he just gave me Japanese product. I was like, you know what? we're just gonna play on hard mode. I'm just gonna play with Japanese product. We did have these like little translation booklets that had all the cards, and they have like translations of the cards both in English and Japanese, so you could translate if you needed to. But I had been playing so much Enigma that I had all of the commons and rares like memorized, like what they do by the art, and most of the mystic cards as well. There's only a couple times where my opponent played something and I was like, okay, what does this do? I need to see. One of the rounds I thought was so I played a lot more Japanese players this day, because in the first day for Mistveil, or for the World Premiere event, you only played against the language that you chose. So if you chose Japanese, you only played against Japanese cards. If you chose English, you only played English cards. So I played against a lot of like people that I recognized, like Saint was sitting next to me for the deck building, for the calling. Hayden Dale was sitting next to me, and he and I chatted. But for the Oasis event, it's like mixed, and same with like calling. It was mostly like mixed, right? And so played against a lot more Japanese players with Japanese cards, and I was playing with Japanese cards. And one of the funniest things is like maybe round 2, I played against a Japanese player playing with English cards, and me, English speaker, playing all Japanese cards. And I pointed out how that it was just kind of like funny. And he said all the cards he has are in English already, so he just wanted to have English cards to make his collection, make sense, like because they're all in English.
Uniform.
Yeah. I was like, that makes sense. But I just thought it was funny that we were both playing with like the opposite language. And then
that's so cool. That's so cool, though, isn't it? It's just like in that moment you realize how widespread the game is now. Like you're playing with Japanese cards, he's playing with English cards.
Yeah, there was some famous like Magic pros, like Japanese Magic pros at the event. I don't remember if Shuya Watanabe there. I don't remember who like exactly off the top of my head, because honestly I was just playing the whole weekend. I don't remember. I wasn't like really privy to a lot of the that kind of stuff. And then so yeah, that was basically my day 2. Day 2 went really well. I ended up buying one of the shikishi from one of the artists. The artists were super nice. It was like this watercolor, beautiful watercolor. It's like back there over there. We'll just watch my vlog. You'll see it. You'll see all the stuff. And that
picked up our mats for us as well. Cheers for that.
I did. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to buy the mat for the Enigma mat for myself, but it was sold out by the time I got there, which was a huge bummer.
Which art was that? What art was that one? Was that the Premiere one? The anime
No. I mean, I'm sorry, the new mat, not Enigma. I did get the Enigma mat. But the new mat was sold out by the time I got there. Yeah. And then in terms of gameplay, day 3, I played in some more like sealed events here or there. I think I went like 3-1 in just like a regular, just sealed, and then I went 3-1 again at the second Oasis event. And that time I played Zen. So both of these times I played Zen. No, Enigma and then Zen. Yeah. And then the Zen pool had like no majestics. It was just commons. But I had 3 red Battlefront Bastion, like the 3 for 7. And then I had multiples of the 0 for 4s with the alternate cost, the E-Strike lights. I had several different copies of those, and then one like Wounded Blow, like which is the 0 for 4 block 3. I'm just like, it's just good numbers. And I had some like decent-ish ninja cards. And I went 3-1. So that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, you mentioned those 0 cards, the emissary cards. They're like one of my favorite things of the set. Those three reds are just absolutely sick.
Yeah, they're really good. The one that gives +2, I think in limited, I think is the best one, because all the classes. Well, maybe not new. Unfortunately, I did not play new a single time this weekend. All my new pools were terrible. Every time I went to play, I was like, okay, can I play new? No, it all sucked. Bunch of yellows, bunch of just like crap. It was just crap, like the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And so could be good and new, but in the other 2 classes, the one that gives you +2, I think is the best one, because you have so many other ways to get go again. Ninja, all your crap has go again anyway. Enigma, all your crap basically will have go again anyway. But the one that gives like the extra +2, which is basically a 1 for 6, is like pretty solid in limited. if you do the tuck. And then Blanche, which is one of my favorite cards in the set, is also a 3 for 7. And so you can just end up with like, I called it good old fashioned down home flesh and blood. 0 for 4s, 3 for 7s. They get there.
Yeah, there's a lot of those generics that do that, isn't there? If you look at the generics of the set, there's quite a few that do that, like the E-Strike Light, the Blanches, the Weakest Link again is a 2 for 6, which does a unique effect. Battlefront Bastion, all that sort of stuff. So we do have that nuts and bolts fab sit in there as well.
And I was just like playing Zen, so it'd just be like, here's an attack with Go Again, here's my weapon with Go Again, 3 for 7. Like presenting like 12 to 15 points of damage every single turn. It's good.
Pretty good.
It's just good. And then Zen, when you can pop off and do his I only was running, so like for people curious, and people will think this a lot, they're like, how many Transcend cards do I run? In Enigma, I ran a ton. I ran like 8 in Enigma, and they were very good in Enigma because they all basically give you an effect, and then you can get a Spectral Shield when you Transcend. In Zen, it's like I ran like 3. I think 3 or 4, if you get good ones, are pretty good in Zen.
Yeah, I think the Zen Chi ability is more of a constructed build around rather than a sealed thing.
It's very good. It is very good and sealed, but you need two cards that are common and then rare. Make it really good. The first one is, I don't know the names of these cards. I just know what the art looks like and what they do. Once again, I played a lot of Japanese cards this weekend as well. They're both reprints though. So the first card, which is my favorite one to get, is the 0 cost. This is the red version. 0 cost, 3 attack. If you've played a Tiger this turn, it gets +1 and Go Again. So you literally just tutor for a 0 for 4 with Go Again, and he makes a Tiger in your hand when you do that. So it literally just gives you a 0 for 4 with Go Again. That card is crazy good when you do the Zen ability. You can push like so much damage. And then the other one is the I think it's a 2 cost 4 attack, and if you played a Tiger, it gets +3. So it's basically it's like a 2 for 7. So that's the other really, really good one. That one's rare. And so like, those are the two good Zen cards if you want to do like the Zen thing. At below
Key Unleashed, I think the one.
Key Unleashed,
that's what you're referring to.
Yep, you want the red Key Unleashed, and then the red. I know the art's got to do with like these claws, and he's like jumping.
I thought that was Benji in that art. I can't. I've got the thing in front of me. But I can't. What it? Pouncing Chi. That one.
Yeah, that one.
No.
That one. That's my favorite one. I like that one just because it costs 0, so you can just pitch and you just go grab a 0 for 4. And if you've already done some Tigery shenanigans, you can attack with your Tiger for like +1 or +2 or whatever, and then jam on in for 4 Go Again. It's really solid. Yeah, I mean, I went, so basically in side events for at least the Oasis, I went 7-1. I got a ton of prize tickets. I bought a sealed box with the tickets. I bought a sealed box of Mistveil, which I opened up on the channel. You can go watch the video. The box is not great, but it's still a lot of fun. Go watch it. I got a bunch of expansion slot stuff. Hey, if you like Riptide, I have a bunch of Riptide. And it follows the pattern if I keep opening the same freaking card. So I actually have 2 Japanese Riptide specializations.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then anyway. So yeah, that was basically the event. Overall, really good. Not a huge event, but I think there was maybe close to 800 to 1,000 people there the whole weekend. I met up with a good content creator friend of mine who lives in Japan, who his name is Different Fight. He's like the biggest Card Fight Vanguard YouTuber, and I got to know him through Shadowverse because he's one of the official Shadowverse ambassadors. He lives in Tokyo, and so he actually was like, "Is the Flesh and Blood thing like free entry?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you just show up." And so he showed up at 2 days of the event. He partook in the Learn to Play section. They had a whole section that's just like Learn to Play Flesh and Blood with like the new Mistveil stuff and the Ira stuff, and that was cool. At one point it was packed, just full of like new people trying to play. which was cool to see. Yeah, it was great to meet folks. Met up with Yui again. Yui is always awesome, and she made it into the vlog. Overall, it was good. 3 days, a lot of flesh and blood. My goal was really just to play as much part the Mistveil as I possibly could, and yeah,
which is normally the opposite, right? When you go to these events, you don't end up playing because you're there just hanging out with people the whole time.
Well, when I'm normally at the events, I'm like working them, and this time it was just kind of like I was just there, kind of like, I don't want to say randomly, but like I said, I was in Japan for a different reason that just happened to be like the week after this event, and so I was like, the people who flew me there were like, "Hey, when do you want to schedule your flights?" And I was just like, actually schedule it for this time so I can actually do this other thing too. And so
absolutely,
that was cool. And being able to participate was cool. I've been a huge like supporter of Flesh and Blood coming to Japan for years now. I put out a video a couple of years ago talking about it, and it was great to like be there at like the first major event. And so yeah, the event went pretty good. Like I said, there's a couple hiccups. The TOs weren't super fast, and if it's the same TOs for Osaka, I hope they kind of like get it into gear, because things got delayed by quite a bit. And that was consistent through all of the days. Everything was delayed, and so like even though I was there for the whole day, like I was only able to play in like a couple events because everything just took so long. So I don't know if it's just them. I don't know if the judges weren't fast enough and like forcing people to be like, end your turn or whatever. But like when they went to time, yeah, Japan in general is awesome. It's my second time in Tokyo this year. I went back to Akihabara for a day, which was great. Bought a lot of stuff. Different fight took me to Ikebukuro, which was also incredible. Never been to Ikebukuro before. And then did the whole like Shibuya thing. I had a thing in Shibuya one of the days. And then my second hotel was in Kanda, which is like a little bit south of Akihabara. And Kanda was like very cool because it is much less of a touristy destination. So I kind of got like the real feel for like how Tokyo is. And for anyone going to Osaka, my suggestion is that one of the days just kind of like go hang out and like don't do touristy stuff. Just go like explore the city. You'll see some awesome things. They have like little parks just kind of like tucked in between like the buildings. They're like super tiny parks with like 2 benches and like a couple trees. But it was cool to see like the city really trying to at least have bits of nature in it. It didn't really feel like a big American city where it's just like, concrete jungle. Like they actually tried to incorporate greenery and stuff. And as someone from Oregon, I really, appreciate that. And then you can find like banger places to eat that are just like these independently owned places. I had a place called Ramos Curry, which is owned by like this Japanese skater punk dude. And goddamn, he made like banger food. Like it was so good. He did like curry, but he also did like these kind of like Western fusion type stuff. What I really enjoyed was the Okinawa taco rice. That stuff is so good. And he's just like the only guy. he's just like the guy there. It's a tiny little place in Shinjuku, which is where my hotel was, which is where the venue was. It was in Shinjuku. And it's like my hotel was right across from the Haruya Tournament Center, which is a big Haruya there. Which, if you don't know, Haruya is a big chain in Japan that specializes in Magic the Gathering, which, unlike the West, Magic is not very popular in Japan. It's like the 6th or 7th most played TCG in Japan. So it's still there, but it's like it's not as big as like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Duel Masters is the third one in Japan that's huge. But anyway, it was like and then some alley. You go back down some alleys and go down a little bit behind the Haruya, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, stuff like that are the things that are really like, you know, stick with me. Like playing Flesh and Blood was great, and I'll have memories of playing some of the games, but a lot of it is just kind of like a blur, you know. But like hanging out at Ramos and Takanobaba with like the dude who like we talked about skateboard brands, because I used to skateboard when I was much younger, and I was like, what's your favorite brand? So, like I was into Zero as a kid, as a kid, so that was cool. I would recommend that place. English friendly. I try to speak as much Japanese as I can, but I'm terrible, and so I try, but you know, it is what it is. I want to learn more.
Famously, Japanese is an incredibly easy language. So obviously, you were just lazy. So totally not one of the hardest languages to learn in the world, with multiple like, I don't even want to call them not fonts, but multiple different types of writing and writing systems. Yeah,
it's fine. I do want to learn at least enough where if the person in the konbini asks me if I want a bag, that I understand what they're saying. That's another thing, by the way. So once again, for everyone going to Osaka, if you're going to be going to konbinis a lot. Konbinis are the convenience stores. I went in them literally every single day, because what I would do is I would go in there and I'd buy like a sandwich, a chicken sandwich, and some drinks and stuff for my hotel room. So anytime I got back from the venue, I could like eat something without having to like, you know, go to a restaurant, which I did a lot, but it's also nice to just go back to your hotel, eat some food, and then go to sleep. And so I went to the konbinis a lot, and they will always ask you, I can't remember what it is in Japanese, but when you're checking out, they will ask you if you want a bag. And to you, someone who doesn't speak Japanese, it's just like, I have no idea what you're saying. I don't know if you're greeting me or whatever, but it's usually asking you if you want a bag. And so no matter what they said to me, I just say, hi. I'm just like, yes, I want a bag. And that works until they don't ask you if you want a bag. Luckily, they asked me if I wanted a bag every single time. So it looks like we froze. I'm going to wait
Jim
till...
Carrey.
Okay. I think we're back. You guys froze for like 20 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys froze for like 20 seconds, and then I heard Jim Carrey. So
yeah, no, because you were talking about how you basically just said hi to everything, which is yes. And I was like, yeah, there's a movie with Jim Carrey that is literally that premise.
Yes. I was telling people
Yes Man, isn't it? Yes Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good film.
That strategy, it works until they don't ask you for a bag, until they ask you something else, and then you're just like, luckily,
and you're lost.
Luckily, they kind of like just assume you don't know what the hell you're doing, because you're, you know, gaijin, and you got a kick out of it. When I was chatting with her, I was telling her like all the things I know in Japanese, and it's not a lot, but I was like, one thing I do know how to say is sumimasen, gaijin, like, which is just like, I'm sorry, foreigner. Hey, people appreciate at least if you try to be like sincere about it. Yeah. The one thing everyone always says the arigatou gozaimasu, and like I try to say it, but I always like stumble the words because I get nervous, and then it's like too many syllables, and so I always just default to arigatou, like, instead of saying the arigatou gozaimasu. Yeah, I'm working on. I'm trying. I'll probably be back in Japan at least next year, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Shadowverse wants me to do Worlds again, which would be incredible. But that's kind of my calling Tokyo experience. Community was great. That's the best part, and it always is the best part of any of the events. But like being able to interact with like the Japanese community, play against like Japanese players, it was an experience that I've never really had before, and it was cool, especially like when I played against like a Japanese player, and like we were able to overcome the language barrier, and it was just fun. Like when I'd be like, we're playing with the Zen deck, and I'd be like, attack for 2, attack for 1, attack for 3, attack for 7, and then he'd be like, oh, like I don't know. It was just a good time. So
That's good stuff.
That's the best thing I have to say about the event. So yay. Yeah. I did a whole vlog of it. You'll see the vlog eventually when I edit it. It'll be the whole trip all in one thing. I'm not going to separate it this time. It's just going to be one big vlog. So yeah, I think they froze again. I think they froze again. You guys good?
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's recording on my side, so it just shows you guys freeze. But anyway, so I think that's it. I think I can kind of like wrap that up a little bit. If you want the further details, check out my vlog. It'll be out at some point. It'll be a lot of editing because it's 10 days worth of stuff, and I'm putting it in one video, so you'll see that. But there's some cool Flesh and Blood stuff, and I did record every day at the event, and I did some updates. You can see like how I do and all that kind of good stuff. So
nice.
Yeah. Overall, by the way, and this will segue to build, and I will stop talking for a little while. I really love this set. I think it might be. I don't know if I like it more than Outsiders, but it's really close. And Outsiders is my favorite set. So this is like in contention for my favorite set. I love it like quite a bit. And that's me playing literally not the hero that I wanted to play. That's me playing Enigma and Zen. Like I played a crap load of Enigma, so much so that I was able to play Japanese cards and play with them because I memorized what they do. Like,
yeah.
And the Enigma was like the last one that I wanted to play, even though she's like very, very pretty. She has cool cards. I was just like, she also seems the most complicated, which she definitely is. And that's my other thing. Yeah. The set's actually kind of complicated. The base mechanics are like pretty easy, but there's a lot of like intricate things. I learned very early on playing Enigma, where if your opponent's really going ham on you, just don't block. Like don't try to save your stuff, because what will happen is you will literally lose everything you have, and then also your hand, so you don't have anything and you just pass the turn. That happened to me once, and I was like, not making that mistake again. So if your opponent's going,
there was.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So there was a phrase on one of the dev talks. LSS are doing a bit of content here and there now, which is nice. And I think one of the phrases was you know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So it's like exactly what you said there. Know when to hold your auras or know when to fold your auras, rather than just wasting your entire hand on blocking. You know, just sometimes just accept the fact that your board is going to go.
Yep. My suggestion would be, and this is the kind of cadence that you'll get after playing a lot, but like pay attention to what they have. Basically, it's basically what it is. Like pay attention to what they have and pay attention to how much you can actually, feasibly block in your own hand. And if you're like can't block much and they still got like 3 cards and floating resources, you're like, it's just pack it in, right? Like just take it and then try to build up, especially if you're Enigma, because you can activate the things at instant speed. Just build up on your turn and then rebuild rather than try to protect.
Yeah, and as you say, there's a few payoffs anyway for letting all your stuff die. There's those spectral manifestations which come in if you don't have any other auras out, then they get extra value. So if you've got those cards in hand, then you might as well let your stuff die to get the extra value from those. So
that card's great. Yeah,
exactly. So
yep.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's all I have to say about that. I love the set. I think it's great. I would love to play with new at some point. We'll see if I can play some limited new. Definitely going to build her in constructed, but now we can let Bill talk for a bunch. Bill, I know you played Mistveil as well. Have at it.
Yeah. So I guess like kind of, it's not like really a spoiler because we mentioned that we were delaying the next Goliath Gauntlet a little bit because we ran into a little bit of a production issue, and that is that I didn't have access to part the Mistveil cards yet. So I won't go into like full detail, but I did literally yesterday morning, film another Gauntlet series with a hero from part the Mistveil.
Nice.
I'll leave a little bit to the imagination at least, but so we filmed that. It went really well yesterday. The hero that I played was extremely fun. So I got some amount of experience playing. It was in Classic Constructed as well, which is not a format that I'm like super well versed in. But it was a really good time, and it got me at least in the mindset of how the cards are supposed to be played. Because transcending is a weird mechanic, in like a really good way. It's a bizarre mechanic that makes you really reevaluate the cards that you have and like the order that you play them in. It really cares about sequencing. And yeah, and then after filming the gauntlet yesterday, I actually went to another one of the, I guess, the last pre-release that my local game stores were holding, and I ended up playing Enigma. My pool was, in terms of like actually playing limited, I pulled one Majestic, and it was Enigma, the adult Enigma, which I have a ring light so you can't really see it. I'm trying to show it off on video for those listeners out there. But yeah, so that was the only Majestic that I pulled. And then I did pull another really cool card, and it was a Marvel Preserve Tradition, which,
Nice.
again, because it's a Marvel, you can't play. So like I had 3 Preserve Traditions anyway. Like I got them as commons, so I wasn't like hurting for cards. I think I had a total of like 10 Transcend commons or something, so more than enough than you would need in a 30 card format. But yeah, the 2 like cool cards that I opened were completely not legal for me to play. Against my round 1 opponent, I put the adult Enigma in play, and I was just like, I have 20 life. It's fine. This is the only real thing that I pulled. Just please let me have this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the deck that I ended up making was like relatively fine. Even with that being said, like I only had rares. But I think the rares that I got were like relatively decent. It was a really close game. I was against New, and they had 3 copies of Picked Pieces, I believe. I was able to fully block the first one that they sent, and then the second one they had like 4 attack reactions for it. So I was hooped. There was no way, and I only had 5 block worth of cards in my hand. I had 2 inner cheese and a 3 block and a 2 block. So I was just like, well, here's everything that I can do. I hope that you don't have it, and they did. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's surprisingly easy to activate 2 attack reactions if you have either the gloves or the boots, because each one represents exactly 2 attack reactions, right? Because it's themselves plus the card that they make.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, especially with even the other attack reactions that are like you attack react and it makes Fang Strike or a Slither.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's 2. They're all bundled really. Yeah, they're all bundled really efficiently together, which makes it kind of tough to play around. But yeah, the first one I was just like, I looked at it. He's like, yeah, this is a yellow one, so it's coming in for 2. And I'm like, okay, block 6. And he's like, acceptable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think my deck was like fine. I ended up dropping after the first round, just because like, hey, shout out Jay, Zen State Fab. He had a Chase the Tail in his pool. He ended up building a different hero, I forget what, but his ninja pool was insane. And realistically thinking about it, like Chase the Tail is an insane amount of value, because you pitch it to your hero ability. As long as you have something else that makes like 1 Crouching Tiger so you can satisfy the combo condition, you pitch a chi to his hero ability to get Chase the Tail, and then come in with Chase the Tail for 4 with Go Again, and then that Zen's hero ability creates the second Crouching Tiger that you need that eats the 3 Go Again buff. So it's like 1 for 7. That all has Go Again. You can continue your turn after that. Like, it's just so efficient. I feel like he's actually like quite strong, especially in constructed. I can see him being very good with like the 12 petal Kasaya, because then you transcend and that pays for the Chase the Tail. Like, it's all free. It's pretty gross. And yeah, I think Transcend the Universe or Traverse the Universe is potentially the strongest card maybe in the game right now. It's like pretty not okay.
Which one?
I'm trying to find which one this is.
This one?
It's the your video is still really slow.
Oh no.
But yeah, but it's the Mystic legendary headpiece that Break 2. When you block with it, you search your deck for an inner chi, put it into your hand, then shuffle. It's just straight up like search for a blue and like draw a blue card. but in the context of Mystic Heroes, especially like in the context of, like I was saying, Zen, it is then like tutor for any combo card in your deck and create a Crouching Tiger on block with a helmet that already blocks 2. Like this could have probably blocked 1 and still been way too good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like pretty high on Traverse the Universe. I think it is extremely powerful. And I just think this set in general is really sweet. Playing Enigma, even like super underpowered as it was, had a lot of really interesting decision points, and the deck felt like pretty strong, even just with a couple of rares. Like I had Astral Etchings, which is 1 cost attack action that, depending on what color it is, it's put like 1, 2, or 3 +1 attack counters on an aura with ward you control, and then if you control a spectral shield, you can play it as an instant. So like at the end of my opponent's turn, after they did a bunch of stuff, I was able to like, okay, pitch an energy to make a spectral shield, flash in this other aura with ward. I forget which one it was, but then put 3 +1 counters on this other thing that I just made. And then like go to my turn, attack you with both for like 10.
That card is like insane with Mirror Guy. If you can get that with Mirror Guy and put the three counters on him, that's a +6. It's disgusting.
Insanity.
Oh God.
Yeah. Mirror Guy. So like one thing I have noticed about the format is it does feel kind of bomby, right? There are Majestics that are like really, really, really powerful. Not just kind of like, oh, it deals you an extra damage or whatever. No, there's like Majestics that will win the game, and Mirror Guy is one of them. The Majestic Assassin attack reaction has also blown me out a couple times. The one that's like
just a nick.
The one that gives a +5, and then also the effect. There's a couple times that I'm just like, okay, there's no way. I blocked perfectly. The only thing that could blow me out is this one specific Majestic, and then like they have it, and it's just like,
They have it.
Yeah.
It's, I guess you have it. Yeah, I just eat it.
Yeah, 0 for +5, and then when this hits, banish the top card of their deck on the other, 0 cost Bonds of Agony, Persuasive Prognosis, the 0 cost, just absolutely mental. Even the commons as well. Yeah, it's just an absolutely ridiculous card.
Yep, it's real good. It's really good. So, and I think if you're running against a new, then they probably have something sweet like that. Otherwise, there's the common cards and stuff are like, I think she's the most difficult to make work well in sealed. Yeah. To be honest, but maybe I just got super lucky with my Enigma pools. But yeah. No,
Nice.
in
in general though, I think the set is really sweet. It again feels like quite strong, but yeah, I had a really good time playing it.
I didn't even mention one of my favorite parts about the set. They changed the sealed rules that you have to have 30 cards exactly in your deck. You cannot have more than that. You have to literally have 30 exactly, and I think it's actually like a very, very good change because you cannot just fatigue pile people. Like, there's that, and you also have the eight packs. So instead of 6 packs, you have 8 packs. So you actually have a much bigger pool, and you have a much better deck because it's forcing you to be like only 30 cards. And every time I went down to build a deck, except for a couple circumstances where my pool was actually pretty garbage, I agonized over like 6 cuts. Right? It's just like, I actually really, really like the change, and I think it's much better, and it made the games feel like much better compared to like Outsiders, for example. Whereas like that's like my only negative for Outsiders is that limited can feel just like Uzuri fatigue piles, and that wasn't super fun. And I don't think you can do that in this format because you can only have 30 cards. So
like Bright Light, Techlo pile, and those sorts of stories are starting to fade away now with these new rules, I think. So definitely change for the better.
And the set's powerful enough where I only went to time once, and it was Enigma playing against Zen, and Zen was being super defensive, and every time I was able to build a thing, then he was able to like blow up all my stuff, and it was just back and forth, and just took that game would have lasted another 10 turns for sure. But yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, we will have a our standard like top 5 picks soon, in a week or so. Next week we have the James White interview, and then after that we'll probably have like our top 5 picks. And at that point we'll probably have all played with the cards by then. The set will have been out for at least a week, and I think a lot of other players might also be able to form their opinions at the time. I definitely have some like standout cards, and I have some cards that I think I would very much like them if I ever pulled them, but I have not pulled them. Like the that majestic 2 for 6, right? I can't remember the name, but it's the one that like conditionally lets you draw a card. What is it called? I can't remember.
I think I mentioned it earlier. Well, the generic one.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out what it is.
I didn't see that card.
Weakest Link.
Yeah, I didn't see that card a single time, and I've probably opened like 3 or 4 boxes worth of packs, right? Maybe even more than that with the actual box, and I have not seen a single one either from myself or from my opponents. So it's just like, I think some cards would be pretty cool, and I really want to play that in like Uzuri, for example. But that's sweet. I like it a lot. I actually pre-ordered. I don't know about you guys, but I actually pre-ordered like multiple cases, which hasn't happened to me since I kind of got burned on Dusk Till Dawn. And then this set I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy some cases. And it's gonna be cool. And I opened up some Japanese. I would love to open up more Japanese, but some of the cool things that I pulled is I did end up pulling just a regular, but a Japanese adult new. And then shout out to Ricardo, I think is his name, for the Japanese adult Enigma. We were just chatting. He was like a viewer, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And he's like, oh, do you want it? And I'm like, I can trade you. And he's like, no, I live in Japan. Like, this is going to be pretty easy for me to get. You can just have it. I'm like, oh,
nice,
cool.
That's sweet.
So yeah. And then of course I kept my foil Enigma, or my foil new. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, let's move on to, unless you guys have anything else to say, we can move on to the Arsenal step, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Cool.
Definitely.
It's been 3 weeks. I don't know what you guys. My Arsenal step. I'm just gonna say, I had a great time in Japan. You should watch my vlog. I'll just put it that way.
Good idea.
The one thing that I will note is I played a lot of Slay the Spire, because I had multiple like 13 to 16 hour travel time, and I wanted to play Balatro, but there's no like mobile version of that. And so I'm just like, well, fire up Slay the Spire and just start from the beginning. I'm currently like Ascension 5 with the Ironclad, if you know. Slay the Spire is a great airplane game, because each run takes about an hour if you do the whole thing. And you can be like, well, this flight's only like 6 runs of Slay the Spire. So you can like, compartmentalize it to make time pass if you're like me and have a hard time, falling asleep on the plane. And then,
nice.
Yeah, I'll leave that as my Arsenal. Play Slay the Spire on mobile is really good. How about you guys? You have anything going on the past 3 weeks other than ascending a mountain?
What do you reckon, Bill?
Not really. I was trying to think of something that's like new, but I've been trying to increase my climbing frequency to 3 times a week. So far that hasn't happened, just because this past week was like really unbelievably busy. But yeah, I've been going pretty consistently twice a week, and I'm starting to see some like pretty decent improvement. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I actually like kind of mentioned you in passing in Ikebukuro. No, not Ikebukuro. In Shibuya, we did a thing, and afterwards it was like me, different fight, some other dudes, and he was kind of like showing us around. And on top of this massive skyscraper type thing, there was just like this park garden on top of the skyscraper that had like a skate park, but it also had a rock climbing wall. And I was like, one of my friends is getting into this. And it was like super, super cool. Just like this garden park thing on top of the skyscraper in the middle of, you know, downtown Tokyo in Shibuya. Like that's the kind of cool stuff. Like I said, you can find really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That'd be wild. I will say though, Az has also been climbing. How's that been going for you, buddy?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I think I mentioned it at the very start. The bouldering stuff, I've still been doing that regularly, but not so much the last few days because I've climbed a mountain instead, which
Right.
is a completely different type of exercise. It's all legs rather than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of uphill walking, and then going down the mountain afterwards was it's quite stressful on your knees because if you're going downhill, you have to sort of prevent yourself from going down further, and it's all on your knees. So my girlfriend actually done her knee in because she hasn't done any exercise like that for a long time. It's quite vigorous without any training, without any sort of prior mountaineering, etc. So she done her knee in, but she's doing all right. But I think it's harder on the way down than the way up. On the way up, you're actually extending your legs, so you're using your thigh muscles and everything to go up. Whereas when you're going down, you're sort of restricting the movement, so it sort of catches on your knee because you're trying to resist the urge to fall forward all the time. And after you've walked up the mountain, your legs are going to be shot anyway. So going back down, all of that resistance goes onto your joints. So yeah, she suffered unfortunately, but she really enjoyed it, and so did I. Yeah, and the people that saw the Twitter post as well really enjoyed it clearly. That was good stuff. But apart from that, just been doing quite a lot of content recently. The League That Means Nothing is about to wrap up, and I've been playing a lot of Blitz, as I mentioned at the start. Now I'm just clamoring to play some Mistveil, which hopefully should be this weekend. If there's no events going on this weekend, it'll be the UK Games Expo. I'm sure there will be some sort of Mistveil events going on. If not, then I'll try and get a few boxes and then just maybe play online, like do a sealed thing online or something. Cal, if you're free or whatever, we could do something or whatever.
Just let me know. I'll have 2 cases and I can set some product aside to do like a sealed. Yeah, for sure.
So if that does, so I'll probably be up for doing something like that as well. But really looking forward to it. It's been nice to get back onto the actual weekly pod. There's been a bit of an extended break, which has been nice. Every Tuesday for the last 3 weeks, I'm like, I've got nothing to do tonight. I don't have to stay up till 12:30, 1 a.m. I can just go to bed.
Oh man, I was pretty exhausted for after 3 weeks of travel. I'll tell you that it was very nice to get home and see my partner and see my dog, and then I just had tons of merch that I had purchased both at Flesh and Blood calling Tokyo, but also at the Grand Archive Worlds that I had dumped all my stuff before I left, and so I just had a whole bunch of things I needed to sort through. So
absolutely,
after I got first thing, one of the first things I did is I just recorded my opening haul videos just so I could get that out of the way and put the stuff where it needs to go. It's still a good time. But I'm I also wanted to mention one other thing too. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I completely forgot that I've also I've been playing the new Paper Mario remake, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on the Switch.
I played the original. It was good.
It was a very good game, and it continues to be a very good game. They did a bunch of really nice quality of life things. There's a lot of backtracking in the game, and there still is a decent amount of backtracking, but they've made it a little bit more bearable. Very good game. If you've never played it, I highly recommend checking it out. Very cool.
Paper Mario games are pretty charming. My roommate in college had a Wii, and he was really into Paper Mario, so he had multiple Paper Mario games. We ended up playing them all. They're good games.
2004 role-playing game. So is it a remake? Is it for Switch?
Yes. Yeah. It was. Okay. It was originally for the GameCube in 2004, and then they just released this remake of it. It's still largely the same game, but yeah, it's just it's on the Switch. It's half as it runs half as fast. The original one was 60 FPS. This one's 30 FPS, but it is also like a lot nicer and on Switch hardware. And the Switch is already like 8 or 9 years old, so it kind of makes sense. Otherwise, I think everybody's Switch would just catch on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a really, really good game, and I really want to support specifically Nintendo to make good remakes of games that I like, because they did it with Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars as well, and that's
dude,
such a banger of a game.
Okay, deep cut for people who had a Wii, but there's a game called Muramasa Demon Blade that's like this banger side-scrolling game that was only ever released on the Wii. And it is like, I think it was made by Vanillaware. So if you know Vanillas, and they have this beautiful, beautiful like anime style artwork, side-scrolling, kind of like beat 'em up style. The game is amazing. I would kill for a remake of that game. Super, super underrated and underplayed because it was literally only released on the Wii, and
wow,
not the platform for like this kind of like awesome, semi like intense, you know, side-scrolling beat 'em up game. Yeah, cool, very cool game. The thing that I said is I'm going to AX this year, so I'm actually going to go to Anime Expo this year. I will explain why at some point, but I'm definitely going, so that should be fun. I've never been to AX before, so that'll be cool. I'll be doing a vlog and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
And then the last thing I'll say before I leave, I've mentioned before that I've been enjoying Diablo 4 ever since it's out, but the new patch and the new season, the Loot Reborn season, is like actually incredible. Robin and I have been playing Diablo 4 since it came out, just kind of like couch co-op, but the new Loot Reborn is like a banger. It's so much fun. So recommend it if you haven't played it. I like how it froze and
it was like,
oh god, I was gonna say it froze when both of you guys were like inquisitively like frozen like that.
Because I was very, very hyped for it, and it didn't really live up to my expectations, but I know they've been like actively trying to make it better and misstepping a couple times from what I saw, but if it's like good, then I'll probably give it another shot.
Yeah, the new season is kind of like a complete overhaul of the loot system. They added a bunch of new stuff. They added end game progression with like this really hard dungeon thing. Like it's really, really good. If you like Diablo 3, this is literally Diablo 4 now is literally just better Diablo 3.
Yeah.
They
really it took them a while to get Diablo 3 even in like a good spot.
Oh, it took them like an expansion and several years. Yeah.
It took them like a long time because like I played Diablo 3 on release and I played a lot of it.
Oh, me too.
It was not a playable game.
I played a lot of it.
Very bad.
I sold a Storm Shield, a Hyrule Storm Shield for $90 on the Real Money Auction House in Diablo 3. Yeah, that's how much Diablo 3 that I played.
What a ridiculous game on release. Vanilla Diablo 3 was just such a wild ride.
Yeah, but Diablo 4 is fantastic, and if you can get it for cheap or on Game Pass or whatever, Robin and I play it on PS5. Dude, it's so much fun, especially like co-op. Hell Tides are awesome. There's just enemies everywhere, and it's like just it's just like condensed fun. It's just killing dudes a whole bunch. So I recommend it. Give Diablo 4 a shot. Yeah. And the story mode has always been, I'll stand by. I thought the story was like pretty fun the first time through. So anyway, that's
sweet.
Yeah, that's that. So unless you guys have anything else to say, or we can kind of wrap up today's episode.
I think this was a good one. Yeah, I think we're pretty good.
Sounds good. Yeah. Like I said, definitely stay tuned for next week. We'll have James White on the podcast to talk about some stuff. We're still formulating like questions and everything. It'll be his first time here on the podcast. We've had a lot of other people from LSS on, so it'll be nice to have James on, and I don't think we have anything like super topical in mind. It's just gonna be like a nice general conversation. I know Az wrote a bunch of questions already, and yeah, it'll be a fun conversation. So
absolutely, yeah.
So with that said, we'll kind of wrap it up today. We'll go in the same order as before. Bill, where can everyone find you if they'd like to hear more from you?
Well, if you would like to, I'm Bill from the Spike Feeders, and you can find me on Twitter at BillTSF. You can also find me on YouTube at the Spike Feeders Fab. We do live edited gameplay content, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier in this episode, there is coming down the pipe some relevant CC Goliath Gauntlet gameplay. So that'll be live in studio, well edited, in my opinion, gameplay. In a format that I don't usually play, but with new cards. I'm basically just a fish out of water in more ways than one. But
nice.
If that sounds cool, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah. Do it. And then Az, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so Az from Go Again Gaming YouTube channel, so Go Again Gaming AZ on Twitter. But yeah, been churning out a lot more content recently, which is nice because at the start of the year I didn't know what I was going to be doing. But yeah, a lot more gameplay on my channel as well. Also, it's more webcam based community stuff that people in the Discord get involved with and play. The League That Means Nothing is still going as well. Season 2 of that's going to come back soon as well. But yeah, just like playing more Flesh and Blood and seeing and editing more games as well that are featuring heroes I don't necessarily get to play or watch a lot of because I don't play them myself. So that sort of increases the knowledge of the game as well, which I'm sure you can attest to as well, Bill, getting to play different decks, get a better understanding of what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, just enjoying that really. So Go Again Gaming, that's it.
Yeah, Go Again Gaming, that's it. And I've been Cal, also known as Red Zone Rogue, and you can find me everywhere at Red Zone Rogue. I talk about a lot of card games. I talk about Flesh and Blood too, and I'm really excited to build and play new. I do have planned up a video where I'm going to talk about where I currently personally am with Flesh and Blood. That'll be in the next week or so. But you can go find me there if you'd like to. If you'd like to do that, I have my my vlog for Japan coming out soon. So if you'd like a first-hand account of all that kind of stuff, go check that out. It's more than just the Flesh and Blood event, but 3 days out of the 10 were the Flesh and Blood event. So it's a decent little chunk of the vlog. So yeah, you'll see people you will recognize, like Chris Bewley. Got to actually meet him in person, and he opened up a box of Japanese Mistveil while we just kind of talk. Spoilers, his box is better than mine. So if you want to see a good box open, you can watch that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there's that. And thank you so much, dear listeners and or viewers. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Cheers.
Bye. Okay, bye.